Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on SPBU. Before I get started, I would like to note to please check my IRP disclaimer. So before we even go into the chart, what I want to do is go over just a couple things that will provide some overall context outside of the chart, and that way when we come back to the chart, we have some things to kind of just keep in the back of our heads as we do go over the chart. The first thing, there's a big write-up out there. If you go to smallcapanalyst.com, again, smallcapanalyst.com, there's this big write-up here. And it's got all sorts of information and so forth on the company and all that good stuff. But the interesting part is if you go all the way to the bottom of it and look at the disclaimer and look at the compensation, you can see that there's a good sized budget behind it. Now obviously there's no such thing as a guarantee in the market, but more often than not when you see big sized budgets, there's some nice price action that follows. So all this information is great, but maybe the best piece of information is down when you're looking at the budget and seeing, the amount of money that has been put behind this thing to market it and advertise it. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing that I want to point out is, although this isn't fresh new news, it is news that they've put out in May, and they've been doing a good job of keeping shareholders up to date. And along with that, there's some 8Ks and stuff like that. So they are a filing company. It's not one of these pink sheets where there's not a single filing out there or anything like that. So keeping that report in mind from small cap analysts, and then knowing that the company's been putting out news, it provides some good overall context with the company and chart. So now looking at the chart, the first thing to point out and remember, given the fact that this small cap analyst reports come out and the nice inflow of news, and then seeing how the price has been reacting, it makes me think that we may be looking here at a bottom, with the bottom being 0.035. Now, obviously don't take my word for it just because I say it. Let the chart do the speaking. You can see that every time the price has come down here, right around this area, every time the bears have tried to push the price through, the bulls have responded very favorably. So that's a nice little sign to see that the bears have, or excuse me, the bulls seem to have found a foothold here, and this level almost is acting as a trampoline now. Every time it comes down, there's a nice little bounce from it. Now on the flip side of things, resistance wise, there's kind of the big bad 50-day simple moving average right here, which is this purple line. And let me squeeze out the chart a little bit so you can see just more of a overall context. But ever since the price basically fell below it right here, you can see that, so hopefully you're getting the point here, every time the price has gotten up near that area or slightly above, it's either sucked the price back down or knocked it down before it could quite get there. So yes, this is a stubborn level of resistance, but like anything, the pros and cons, the con would be obviously, like I just said, that it is a very stubborn level, but the pro is usually the more stubborn a resistance level is, the bigger the move, if the price can get above it. So I didn't count, but I'd say at least 5 or 6 times now this level has rejected the price. So with a break above it, things could get pretty exciting. And just looking at the chart, with a break above it, so right now it's valued at 0.054, but with a break above that level, the next area of resistance isn't until way up here at 7 cents. Where am I getting this resistance from? Well, if we look back here, you can see knocked down the price a bunch of times there, knocked it down, so you get the idea. And then after that, the next level of resistance is not until all the way up here at the 200-day simple moving average, up here at 0.083. So the point I'm trying to get across is, with a break of the 50-day simple moving average, there's quite a bit of upwards potential where the price could really go on a run. And it doesn't take much to move the price, so obviously it's a pretty favorable share structure. So with a right amount of volume, the thing could get moving fast. Because when you see this amount of price action, when only 25,000 shares hit it, it begs the question, what happens if 250,000 shares or more than that hit it? So a very unique setup. And then once again, factoring in those outside things like the small cap report, it just kind of adds a few more interesting dynamics to it. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this week plays out. So I'd encourage you to get it on the radars and see what happens, and see if this 50-day simple moving average can get demolished or not. So if there are any other questions on the chart, if not, again, this was SPBU. Thanks for listening.